It's a place hundreds of inmates were desperate to get out of, an ominous place reserved for the worst of Canadian convicts. Kingston Pen. It first opened in 1835. It's now closed for business. Yet there's something so strangely fascinating about it that hundreds of people have paid to get a glimpse of what life was like inside. Our Shirlee Engel, too, got an exclusive tour.
I used to tell people when I brought them through the front gate, the sun always shines inside KP.
Don't be disarmed by her sunny disposition. Donna Morin is one tough lady.
I'm probably the only warden they took out if they're kicking and screaming.
Warden of Kingston Penitentiary from 2002 to 2007, she's our guide for one of the first public tours in modern history. Our first stop, Cell Block, where you can still smell the sweat, see signs of lives left behind by some of Canada's most dangerous criminals.
These cells at Kingston Penitentiary are the smallest in the country. Now, back in the day, about the late 1980s, they used to double bunk here.
Since then, most inmates felt too exposed sleeping on the top bunk, so they put their mattresses on the bottom.
This is basically for the worst of the worst.
Up next, what prison guards call deep segregation, home to high-profile convicts like former Air Force Colonel turned sex killer Russell Williams, schoolgirl killer Paul Bernardo. Child sex offenders arrive to an earful from fellow inmates here.
The rest of the guys in here, they had a routine where they would yell 24 hours a day. They'd take turns as who was going to stay awake and yell and yell and yell and yell.
For decades, locals and tourists have been intrigued by the mystery behind these walls. The United Way is running these tours for just 3 weeks. 9,000 tickets to see these cramped cells and haunting halls sold out fast.
I remember watching the riots and the pictures, and I always thought, I got to see why they're so crazy in here.
And do you have a sense now?
Yeah. Oh, yes, very much so.
So many stories, 178 years of memories, a chapter in Canada's history now closed.
To me, it's like you're closing my dad's grave.
Daphne Jenkins was just 15 when her father, prison guard William Wentworth, was stabbed to death on duty in 1961. She put a wreath in the courtyard today so visitors could remember her dad and 6 other officers who died here.
It's not all about the glorification of the inmates, it's about them.
Like many in this community, she wants Kingston Pen to be preserved, now a museum of human darkness facing an uncertain future. Shirlee Engel, Global News, Kingston, Ontario.
So what happens to Kingston Pen after the 3 weeks of public tours are over? Well, Corrections Canada says it will take until 2015 to fully decommission the site, and after that, it hasn't made any specific plans for the historic penitentiary. And for more of what Shirlee saw there and a full list of the inmates who did time at Kingston Pen, you can go to our website, globalnews.ca.